Welcome to the ultimate guide to the Twilight Forest. Subscribe if this is helpful. I'll be taking you through absolutely every step with no waffle. If you're new here, check out all of the playlists on my channel. You'll be very happily surprised at just how many mods I've covered. So, let's get started. The first thing you want to do is, of course, get to the Twilight Forest. It's very actually simple to get there. Go 1, 2, 1, 2, fill it with water, then surround it with flowers. Doesn't matter which flowers. Oops. I'm going to use daisies. Just like that. Okay, once you've surrounded it with flowers, we're then going to get a diamond and chuck it in. And it'll be pretty obvious if it's worked, by the way. I'm just going to get a diamond, throw it into the pool, lightning will hit it, and now you have a portal to the Twilight Forest. And there we go. Now I'm going to use my portal I made earlier, and now we can jump in. Don't worry, you will be able to get back without having to take another diamond with you. A portal on the other side will be there waiting for you. So now we're in the Twilight Forest. And our first goal is going to be to make a magic map. Can you see on this page here, on this map, that we've got little icons of, near my cursor, there's a Naga, there's the Lich, there's all these different bosses that we're going to do, because it's actually gated between doing bosses in a certain order. So there's like a campaign story progression, if you will, to the Twilight Forest. And that is why the map is so useful. Before we get into that, though, there's a few other little things I want to show you. There's going to be some nice little mobs around, these cute deer. There's some new cool trees, as you can see, and these like cicadas that are really cool that you can take with you back home and use as a little mini light source. These crazy big trees, things like that. Okay. There's also going to be things like these mounds that you will see. And if you dig through this ore mound, what you're going to see is very lovely an insane amount of ores beneath it. This is absolutely phenomenal. There are lots of spawners down here, though, and mobs, so do be careful. But really, really cool for getting lots of ores. So there's some really cool structures like that around. So to make the magic map, you're going to have to make a blank magic map. And that's going to need a magic map focus. The magic map focus is some glowstone dust, some torchberries, and a raven feather. In order to find ravens, you want to just explore a little bit until you find these obsidian pillars. Around the obsidian pillars, you will find ravens. Kill the ravens, they drop raven feathers. There's one here. There'll be a few of them, like kind of dotted around these obsidian pillars. And these are really quite common. Torchberries you will find underground. So, for instance, there's this cave network here. And as you can see, we can already see the torchberries. You can just harvest these and get them. And then you make a magic map focus with the torchberry, the raven feather, and the glowstone dust. Surround it with paper. Ta-da, you've got a blank magic map. Just like a normal Minecraft map, as you walk around, this map will fill out. So what's the first thing we want to find? Well, it's the Naga. This is the first boss we are going to defeat in Twilight Forest. You may also find these cool hedge mazes on the way, have some spawners in, depending on what other mods you've got in, like looter, etc. You may have some treasure chests in here. I'm playing this in ATM, so obviously, you know, this may be a bit different if you're playing a different pack, but these hedge mazes are really cool and full of treasure as well. As you can see from my spawn point, it's about 1,500 meters to the nearest Naga, at least that I could find on my map. So do be prepared to do a little bit of exploring, as after all, it is an exploration mod. You might be able to use things like the Structures Compass mod to find the boss areas that you need, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, once you get close, as you can see at the top of my screen, it says Naga, and what you're looking for is this big old courtyard. It's basically from the old Nokia games, Snake. I would recommend Netherite gear, diamond with some modded stuff. You're going to be absolutely fine. It's not the hardest boss to do in the world. Now, I am in creative. You could just basically dig through the walls of the courtyard, and you can hit it. Basically, you can try and hit its head, I think is better. And it will kind of lunge at you. Using a shield is going to be very useful. I mean, this is just a basic Netherite sword, and you can see how much it's hurting it. This has no sharpness, nothing on it. So, you know, it's not really a massive deal. Now, these little blocks on the end of it will actually break off the more you damage it. As you can see, it's getting a lot shorter. So the fight technically will get kind of easier. With a few potions, some basic Netherite enchanted gear or diamond enchanted gear, etc., or modded, you're going to be absolutely fine with this boss. It's not the most magnificent thing in the world. Now, once you kill it, you're going to get some specific items. Depending on the version, it may drop off the boss, or in this version, it's dropping in a chest in the middle of the courtyard. So if nothing drops, don't panic. I go into the chest, and as you can see, I've gotten some Naga scales and a Naga trophy. So the Naga scales we can use to make Naga scale leggings, which have protection free, and a Naga scale tunic with fire protection free as well, which are going to be really handy for you. So I would probably advise making these if you want. You may need to find another courtyard or another Naga in to get enough scales to actually make all of this armor, however. But that is how we find and kill the first boss in the Twilight Forest, the Naga. Once you've killed the Naga, we want to come here, the Lich Tower. This is the second boss in the Twilight Forest. On your magic map, it looks like this guy with a crown on his head. So, how do we get to him? Well, you find the tower on your magic map after you've killed the Naga. As you can see, I can go right up to the building. There'll be a magic force field around here if you have not killed the Naga. I think we just break in just like usual. Yes, there is no front door. He does not want you in here, let me tell you. So when you enter this tower, you're going to see there's, cobwebs everywhere. Oh my god. And you want to make your way up to the top of the tower. So, we can go up this ladder here, and we can go up this ladder. There's some chests in here, like you can see. Transformation powder, which will turn moss patches into moss blocks and, things from the Twilight Forest, etc. All very cool, very lovely. If we break the stair here and go through, you can see there are death tomes which will attack you. Lots of paintings, there's lots of different rooms, but TLDR, get to the top of the tower, of course. So there's holes in the stairs, do watch out for that. Skeleton druids, oh my goodness, lots of new mobs in here and spawners. I'm going to go all the way up, up, until we get to the Lich. Once we get to the top here, you have the Lich. Now, this is a 3-phase fight. Phase 1, he has shields around him, and he's going to fire ghast bolts at you, which you need to reflect back by attacking them, just as if you would be killing a normal ghast. So as you can see here, he's throwing things at me. He'll also summon duplicates of himself at you, as you can see, to distract you, basically. And because of his shields, you will not be able to attack him. So there comes out the ghast bolt. You probably just saw it. He's probably the most annoying boss in the game, if I'm honest, because of this annoying bit where you have to, throw back the ghast bolts. You could just come down the stairs a bit and try and hide from him, eat a golden apple or something, if he's annoying you. Maybe go into a corner so that you can fire all the bolts back to the same direction. Like if you just stand here in this corner and just flick your weapon like this, you should really be directing most of them back at him, or at least a lot of him. Like I've just been literally stood here like this, and as you can see, his health bar is nearly down. And there's not really much rhyme or reason to my actual strategy here, apart from I'm just trying to reflect the stuff back at him. And whenever I need to heal, I will go down this stair a little bit where it's a bit more safe, and I'll eat a golden apple. Now, he can come down with you, but this has worked for me. There we go, and we're now on Phase 2. Phase 2 is a bit more easy. He's going to summon loads of zombies at you, as you can see here, and you can basically go up and melee him. So it's a lot easier than before in Phase 1. And then he goes berserk in Phase 3, and again, you can just melee him down once again. It's not really a big issue. Phase 3 is not much different from Phase 2, apart from he just goes a bit berserk. So just melee him down in that phase as well. And there you go, you've now killed the Lich. So he is going to drop a chest in the middle again. When we go in here, you have the Lich trophy, a golden sword, oh wowee. But you're also going to get a scepter. So I have here the scepter of life draining, for example. There's 4 different scepters: the scepter of Twilight, the scepter of life draining, the zombie scepter, and the scepter of fortification. So to recharge these scepters, you can use a golden apple if you get the fortification one. The zombie scepter will require a potion of strength and zombie rotten flesh. Life draining will require fermented spider eye, and scepter of Twilight will require an ender pearl. So what do? Well, the Scepter of Fortification will put the shields around you, like the Lich had. The Zombie Scepter means you can summon zombies. The Scepter of Twilight, you can shoot Ender Pearls, or Ender Bolts, just like the Lich does. And Life Draining will literally drain the life from your enemies. But that is how you do the Lich. Hopefully that made a lot of sense and was helpful. Now we're going to be moving on to the Swamp after this to kill the Minotaur in the Labyrinth. The third boss of the Twilight Forest is the Minoshroom. This is like, I think it's Perseus, in Greek mythology, in the Labyrinth, who went and killed the Minotaur. I'm going to be giving you a lot of my top tips here. Number one, of course, is that we need to find it on the magic map. So, when looking at the magic map, you see I'm in a swamp biome, which is also where you may find the Hydra. Now, can you see, if I move my I'm at the top left, look. Can you see there's like a grey little icon, and there's 3 of them in the swamp. So these are entrances to the labyrinth. So basically, what you're going to see, it's not the most obvious of boss areas, is this hill. This is the entrance to the labyrinth. You know what I mean? It's not really obvious at all. When you go inside, you will see the labyrinth entrance. And you're also going to see some Minotaurs. So what you're going to want to do is jump down into the labyrinth and go through the labyrinth looking for the Minotaur. But there's a few things that can help us here. And that is going to be getting... so you've already got your magic map, but we can also make a blank maze map, or a blank maze ore map. So how do we do that? Well, you're going to need a maze map focus. And this is dropped from Minotaurs. It's about a 2.5% drop chance, meaning it's, a very low drop chance. But if you do kill Minotaurs and get the maze map focus, you can basically make yourself a blank maze map, which is going to show you around the labyrinth. So when I use it, we then get in our inventory a maze map. So I can look at that, and it's actually going to draw out the labyrinth for you in this map. The ore one will basically show ores and treasures on the map as well. Now, one tip here for getting the maze map, if you're playing it in a mod pack, like in, let's say, all the mods, then what you could do is use hostile neural networks to get Minotaur predictions and get the maze map focus, meaning it's a much higher chance of you getting it that way. If you want to use that mod, check out my channel. I have got a full tutorials for hostile neural networks on the channel. One other thing is the Explorer's Compass mod. You can literally go right-click into that and put in Minotaur Labyrinth and search, and it will show you where the nearest Minotaur Labyrinth is. Some mod packs make this compass very difficult to get because of how good it is, but you can install this mod if you'd like, if you're making your own mod pack, etc., or if it is easy to make and easily find it without needing the magic map. So now that we've got our maze map, etc., and we're in here, we're going to have a difficult time up against some enemies. Now, the slimes in here will also drop a Charm of Keeping at a 1.5% chance. This basically will, when you die, the Charm of Keeping 1 will mean that you keep everything in your main and offhand. The Charm of Keeping 2, which you can make from 4 of them, will mean everything in your hotbar is kept when you die, and the Charm of Keeping 3 means everything in your inventory will be kept when you die. And these drop from the slimes in the labyrinth. It's quite dark down here. My last tip would be to take a potion of night vision with you, if you can, as it's just going to make running around this labyrinth so much easier. Eventually, just like the entrance to the labyrinth, you will find this here, which is basically like a well, and you jump down and go down to the lower level, and that's what you want to keep doing. You want to keep going down until you find the boss room. So I'm going to go into Spectator, because obviously this is a tutorial. And this one only has 2 levels, for example. And what you're looking for to eventually find is not this room here with the mushrooms, or do be careful of these crazy looking things. Here we go. It's this room here. And if I break these 2 fences, you can see there is the Minoshroom. So because of the fences, you can just hit him with a bow, and he's quite an easy boss. If not, then just, break your way in. And the Minoshroom, as you can see, only has 120 health. It's not the hardest boss in the game. And you kill him, open the mangrove chest in the middle. He will drop a diamond Minotaur axe that does extra damage while charging, which means while sprinting. and you get meat stroganoff. Now, the meat stroganoff you want to eat because this is going to unlock the next boss. You need to eat that meat stroganoff in order to unlock the next one. One other thing I did not mention is that as a small treasure chance to get in the treasure chests in here, the Maze Breaker. The Maze Breaker pickaxe can be found in treasure chests in the labyrinth, and this actually will take 1 durability when breaking labyrinth walls and floors. Now, normal pickaxes will take 16 durability when breaking walls, etc. in the labyrinth. It gives you efficiency 4, unbreaking 3, and fortune 2 as well. And there's also some treasure chests in here. I'm playing this in ATM, so it has lots of different stuff in here, but you've also got graceful ironwood swords and things like that you will find in here. But there we go. That is how you do the Minoshroom in Twilight Forest, which is the 3rd boss. The 4th boss in Twilight Forest is this crazy thing, the Hydra. This is a really complex boss that you're going to have to pay attention to the tactics on. How do we find it? Well, it's pretty easy, actually. If we look at our magic map here, you can see in the swamp there's a huge red patch and it has a huge Hydra head in the middle. So very easy to find, this one. Now, it's in the middle of this big hill crater. You can see around it there's a load of ores. You can see some iron and coal. Now, unfortunately, the Hydra does have like a ghast attack that's almost supercharged, and therefore it can knock out these ores, so we do want to be careful of that, but it's not the end of the world, obviously, if it does happen. So let's go over the tactics now we found it. The amount of damage the Hydra takes is going to be based on where you hit it. It is preferred to use close range or melee. That is because if you go over 20 blocks away, then range attacks are not going to work. The heads can attack you independently, meaning it can become quite an overwhelming fight. If you're on a server, I'd really recommend doing this with some friends. It's got 3 main attacks. Fire Breath, which deals fire damage, and it's also a bit of a physical damage as well, but you can outrun it because it has a bit of travel time. As you can see, it's opening its mouth here, and there comes the fire. What I would recommend, because it does have a travel time, is that you run in a circle when the fire breath is coming. Can you see it's following me? And it's really, really, really easy to dodge because it's quite slow. Now, when it lowers its head like this, can you see that? It lunges and does a bite attack. So this one here, this is going to be Fire Breath. As you can see, it's really easy to actually get rid of. And I can just basically come up close to the Hydra and hit its body. Well, I can try to. There we go. Up close by running in a circle as it's doing its Fire Breath. But watch out, because when the head comes down like that, it's trying to bite you. And there you go. It lunges in for a bite. So this then is going to be doing the TNT ghast attack. Now, these take a few seconds before they actually explode, and again have travel time. So that's the 3 attacks that it does. Let's go over it again. When the heads come down low, watch out for them as it's trying to bite you. When you see the flames in its mouth, run in a circle as, well, flames are going to be coming out. And then when it does this one, when it does like the like smoke like this in its mouth, that's going to be bombs basically coming out, which are like supercharged ghast ones that explode. I would recommend doing melee and staying close to the body and just hammering it down like you can see here. Now, I am wearing amazing gear. I'm wearing Automodium. When you see the head coming near you, run back out as it's going to do the lunge bite attack. So really, all attacks are actually quite easy, even though the tactics are probably the most complex of any boss so far. But as you can see, it just one-hit me as my skin was ripped off by the Hydra, and I was wearing all the Modium gear. So do not let it bite you. Those bites are incredibly strong. If you do prefer being ranged, you could try reflecting those like fireball TNTs that it's shooting out, like a ghast does. That will work. But if you're not good at that, you can also try hitting its open mouth with something like a mining laser, or maybe an arrow from like quite close up, as the inside of its mouth is its most vulnerable. However, the bite attacks it does from inside its mouth are the most damage it will do to you. As you can see, I survived in survival a really long time then, quite peacefully while explaining the tactics. But then when I got lazy and got really, really close, obviously it just shot me. So, if you're careful with the tactics, it is quite an easy boss. Hopefully I've shown you the tactics and explained it well enough that you understand how to do it with some good ideas there on how to do it. What you could do if you've got a friend is just you run around in circles, etc., and they hit it from quite close up with ranged while it's focused on you. And there we go. You just, keep meleeing it down or using arrows, doing whatever tactic you like. I would just go around in circles trying to get close enough, but watching out for the bite attacks. I think that's the easiest tactics, in my opinion. When it dies, you will then get some fiery blood and some Hydra chops. The fiery blood can be made to make fiery boots, which will burn attackers. And we can also make fiery pickaxes, which will smelt. And we've got a fiery sword, which basically will burn your targets. And there we go. That is the Naga boss done in the Twilight Forest. Did I say the Naga? The Hydra. Once you've killed the Hydra, we then want to come here, the Dark Forest. This Dark Forest is very obvious, as it literally has this huge roof over it that you can't really enter from above. Now, for me, on the magic map, it looks like this, okay? What you're looking for is, can you see around the Dark Forest? So let me just spin around on the map so you can see exactly where I am. I'm near the Naga on the sort of lower left side of the map. There's 4 little entrances, right? You can see. And in the middle of the Dark Forest, you can see a pink icon. Now, that's the Urghast, which is what we're doing after we do these this stronghold. So this is what you want to find on your map. These kind of like tea-ish looking, they look a bit like grey anvils. And they're very near the entrance to the Dark Forest. Sorry. And as you can see here, this is what we're looking for. So when we go over it, you can see here there is a stronghold force field. What you want to do is get any of the trophies that you've accumulated so far. I'd recommend a Naga trophy, as that's the easiest one to get, and therefore the least valuable for us. And you put it on this trophy pedestal. Place it on here. Place it on top of it like that, not on the side. Place it on top of it like that. And that will get rid of the stronghold force field, and you can now enter the stronghold. Again, it's a labyrinth. Unlike the Minotaur one, we will not have a map to support us. Oh, that was easy. As you literally can see here, for me to find the boss was incredibly easy. I just had to basically walk forward. I put a waypoint here to find it. I didn't realise it was actually that close to the entrance. And what you're going to be looking for is these iron bars, basically. Night vision is good in here. It's quite dark otherwise. And these obsidian entrances. Come in, and here we go. Now, these are the night phantoms. So only one of them is real at this point. And the way you can tell is, see, this one has a body, and the other ones do not. So the other ones are all going to attack you, but you want to focus your damage on this one. Once you've killed it, a different one will become the real one. And there's 6 of them in total. So you need to kill them in the order that they appear with a physical body. And they will throw their tools at you. A shield is really good here. It's all they really do. There we go. The next one has appeared. That's the next real one. So we need to kill this one next. They're quite difficult. They do a lot of damage, but the tactics aren't crazy. They just spin around the room, throwing stuff at you to annoy you, basically. And you need to kill them in order of which one becomes the physical one. So this one's now the physical one. I killed that one. It's pretty simple. What you will notice is they will drop these items here. Like phantom helmets. They drop different types of phantom gear, which is obviously quite good gear. As just an FYI. Okay, we've got one last left to do, and we've destroyed it. We can open the chest in the middle. You'll get the Iron Forged Knight Phantom trophy. We might not get Iron Forged, depends what things you have on, but you will also get the Phantom gear and some Knight Metal axes and tools as well. Now, once you've done that, we can then travel to the centre of the Dark Forest and defeat the Urghast. So now we want to go deep into the Dark Forest after you've done the Phantoms, the Phantom Knights, the Phantom Knights being here. And then, deep within the Dark Forest, you have this huge building, generally in the centre. Now, the Dark Forest is covered, but this bit is open, so you can pillar up from the outside if you wish. That is completely up to you. If you right-click these blocks, you can actually enter through them. They basically disappear, and this is how you can get into the Urghast area. And as with everything in the Twilight Forest, it's a bit of a maze, and you want to basically get yourself to the top. So you could pillar up, or you could go up through this way that I'm going. Obviously, there's a bit of a labyrinth to follow here, and it is really, really high up that you need to get. So I'll meet you at the top, and we can see the Urghast. In fact, if you do want to see how high up it goes. This is near the ground, and you need to get up all the way up here. So, you know, it is really, really, really high up. It's quite a challenge to get up through, but there's, of course, lots of loot in there if you do want to do it that way. Where you're basically trying to get to eventually, goodness gracious me, is all the way up here, where you can see in the middle there is a spawner. It's basically just a supercharged ghast. So, you know how to kill ghasts. I would use a very strong bow to kill this one. Here it is. I'm in creative. As you can see, it's a massive, massive ghast. It basically just throws fireballs at you. That's it. If you have some super modded weaponry like I have, the Urghast is actually quite easy to kill. But just watch out or try and reflect back like a normal ghast the bolts at it. It will also send out all of these little mini ghasts that you're going to get here as well, which you can kill, which will help destroy the main ghast. And like all the other bosses in Twilight Forest, you get a chest at the end, an Urghast trophy, some Carmenite, which you can make into these reappearing blocks and vanishing blocks like you've seen coming up through the tower, and some fiery tears, just like the Hydra drops as well. And that is the Urghast. And we can finally leave the Dark Forest. Once you've killed the Urghast, you want to come here to this icy biome. And can you see in the biome there's this huge structure here, a huge structure here, and a huge structure here. And one here. These are Yeti caves, and this houses the Alpha Yeti, which is the big daddy you can see in here. Now, it has two main attacks, basically where it lobs snowball things at you, and then where it jumps up and down. So let's have a look at them. I'm going to eat my golden apples. Now, the Yetis will pick you up, as you can see here. They're pretty easy to kill. Now, the Alpha Yeti, when it does its... there it goes, it's throwing its snowballs. When it throws its snowballs like that, which, by the way, will land on the floor and freeze you in place if you stand near them. As you can see, there's a freezing effect around it. Basically, you want to run in a circle like I am and try and get close and attack it. Then, it'll jump up and down, doing damage to you for about 20 seconds. Oh, also, do be careful if you get too close, because it might pick up and throw you, which won't do damage directly, but the fall damage can. Now, when it's jumping up and down, can you see that icicles are also falling from the ceiling? Watch out for these, as obviously these will damage you. And the little Yetis are going to pick you up and annoy you as well. So once it's done all its jumping up and down, it basically is crying, and you can run up and attack it while it's doing that, and, you know, while it's basically stunned. And that's it. It's quite an easy fight. It doesn't do an insane amount of damage either. And once you've killed the Alpha Yeti, you get a chest in the middle, the canopy chest, you have the Alpha Yeti trophy, some ice bombs, and, of course, Alpha Yeti fur, which you can use to make Yeti horned helms, Yeti boots, and Yeti leggings, etc., which give you... it chills your attackers and also gives you protection. Now that you've killed the Yeti, you can move on to the Snow Queen. Once you've killed the Alpha Yeti, you are going to want to go deeper into the ice biomes. So you can see here you've got the forest, and in the middle of the forest is this icy biome with penguins and a tower in the middle. So you're going to want to climb up here and obviously go to the tower. Now, don't be fooled by the entrance having a door here. It doesn't necessarily take you up the right tower. So when you go in, again, night vision is recommended. There's these stable ice cores that will hurt you. Go up the steps, go up. Oh, what are these? Snow guardians as well. Keep going up, 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 up. And then, you know, sometimes there's these little doors in the walls, so do be careful in case you think, well, this is it. It's not it. You can go through. There's parkour bits you're going to have to go up. TLDR, you need to get to the top. Now, this tower ends here, but where we actually need to get to is much higher. You know, get up there however the hell you like. You know you're in the right place because the bit with the Ice Queen in has this iced over rooms, and you're kind of going to need to sort of dig up through the ice to this floor, up through the ice, up through the ice, up through the ice, and this is where the Ice Queen will be, in this room here. And there she is. So obviously it's all on the ice. The Snow Queen, sorry, I'm calling her the wrong thing. So she will drift up and down on this ice cloud of hers throughout the fight, and the ice cloud does act as a shield, preventing players from damaging her from below. So there's 2 phases to this fight. In the first phase, she's going to summon ice crystals. They're going to distract you and allow her to regenerate her health. Now, when her health drops to 125, she'll enter her second phase, where she extends her arms and shoots from her hands, and she can also fly to the top of the chamber and quickly fall to the ground, crushing you with her ice cloud. So this is her in full action. She's bobbing about, not doing much. Here she comes, and you can sort of... There's the ice things that she summons to distract you, the ice crystals. Now you can sort of jump up when she comes down and attack her. That's what I do. So I kill the ice things that she's doing. I don't know if there's a better strategy. This is what I do. So she comes down, I jump at her and attack her until she goes back up. And then I sort of wait for her to come back down again. She's not really doing too much in this phase, to be honest with you. You know, these ice thingy and bobs that she's doing, I would just be careful that she doesn't come on top of you. There she goes. That's when she comes down on top of you and smashes through the ice. And that's where she can crush you. And you can sort of tell when she's about to do it, because there she goes again. She does it. And I jump up and I attack her. Because the ice is a barrier, but obviously you can get to her head above the ice. So when she kind of plummets down, you can then hit her on top. And there we go. That is the boss done. Inside here, you're going to get loads of snowballs, a tri-bow, and the Snow Queen trophy. Once we've killed the Snow Queen, what you want to do is come over up into the Highlands. And this is where we start the preparation for the final boss of the Twilight Forest. So the Highlands are quite obvious. They're hilly, there's loads of fawns around the final boss area, and you're going to look for these huge cloud-like things on the map. So, as you can see, if you look up, there is a huge cloud. And that is the land of the giants. The giants are you, by the way, giant versions of you. So what you're going to see is just Podzol. But around that Podzol, you're sometimes going to see Uberous soil. Now, if I go into spectator mode, obviously you in survival will be digging on down. We're going to dig on down, and under this area, you're going to see a cave system. And under here are the cave trolls. You want to kill these cave trolls in the hopes that they drop a magic bean. It's a 2.5% drop chance. And again, if you have magic beans... If you have the hostile neural networks mod installed, you can kill some trolls for the troll prediction and, you know, get magic beans that way. It's about a 2.5% drop chance, but basically dig down under this area, kill the trolls, get your magic beans, and then once you've got your magic beans, I want you to come back up to the surface. And then what we're going to do is get that Uberous soil, and we're going to plant our magic bean. Oh my goodness, and the ground will actually start shaking. I mean, this is actually pretty spectacular, to be fair with you. And literally, and this is actually insane. I've never actually seen this before. Oh my god, how cool is that? It's a literal beanstalk. And you climb up the beanstalk. Honestly, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in modded Minecraft. Like, obviously I'm doing the tutorial, but I've never actually seen the beanstalk in action. I just knew how to do it. And we come up all the way to the top. Ah, this is cool. And this is basically your staircase to the giants. And it gets you back down again as well. So when you get up here, as you can see, it's giant versions of me. And I'm going to kill me. Oh, it's not easy. And what they're going to drop is a giant pickaxe. Pick up your giant pickaxe. And it literally is giant. They also drop a giant sword, etc. But what you really want is the giant pickaxe. And they live in this little house in the clouds. So then what you're going to do is come all the way back down your beanstalk and go back underground to where the trolls were. Now, you may have seen down there a giant obsidian box. So go up to the giant obsidian box and mine it with your giant pickaxe, which will take a very long time. I'm just going to go into creative and do it. And inside will be a treasure chest. And these ones, sorry, what I must have actually explained is that these small boxes with these treasure chests in, you would do with your normal pickaxe, sorry, your diamond one. And they've got loads of treasure chests in with cool loot, more magic beans, etc. So you can just get the magic beans in this in these treasure chests, if the mod pack you're having, of course, has done the loot so that within here you can get them. But like, there's one over here. There's one over here. I found like 3 or 4 maybe in here. And then what you want to do is come to the giant obsidian and break that with your giant pickaxe. There we go. And inside here, you will find some really cool loot. Emeralds and things like that. But inside one of these treasure chests will be the Lamp of Cinders. And this is what we need to continue. So you will need a giant pickaxe to get through the giant obsidian, to get into the treasure chests, to get the Lamp of Cinders. Basically, what you can do with the Lamp of Cinders is you can use it to burn through the thorns that are protecting the final tower. Now, when you get up here, it will actually come up with a chat message, unless you're watching this in about 5 million years' time. Anything past this point in the Highlands is a work in progress. It will be finished in the future. This is the end of the progression for now. The final castle that awaits on the plateau is still unfinished and a work in progress. If you'd like to keep up with the mod's development, you can join our Discord server, which obviously isn't mine, it's the Twilight Forest one. So as you can see, when you get up here past the thorns with your cinders, you are presented with a castle. You can right-click these doors, so like see all these doors here? Like you can right-click the door and the door will magically open in the castle. And then when you come to the top of the castle plateau, what you see is a final castle work in progress. So there is actually a mod out there that can help you with this. I'm trying to get it to work myself, but it doesn't seem to be. I'll run you through it quickly just in case anyone can work it out and wants to comment below. So two mods. One is the Twilight Forest final boss. And if you click on that, it basically adds a final boss into the game, but it does require the Twilight Tweaks mod to make the boss spawn. It will not spawn with just this mod. And then basically it says to put the Summon Twilight Forest Final Boss Keeper XXX into the config for Twilight Tweaks to make the boss spawn from the final boss spawner. But as you've seen at the top of the castle, there is no spawner to make it spawn. So then what you do is you go into Twilight Tweaks, and it says blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm doing this in ATM9. I go open folder. I go config. I scroll all the way down to T for Twilight. And Twilight Tweaks common. And then in here, it says that you should put in, this is the command from the other mod. But the issue is there is no boss spawner to make it spawn from in the game. What you can do, however, is from the final boss mod, is to spawn in the Castle Keeper spawn egg. And this here would be the final boss. It's pretty cool. Obviously, it's not an official one, but it's pretty cool because it basically is made from the Alpha Yeti. It's made from the Urghast. I don't know what this arm is. There's a bit of the Naga in there. Yeah, it's kind of meant to be like a part of all the bosses, and it spawns these other cool creatures. If we go into survival, I don't know how crazy this is going to be. So it basically shoots fireballs at you. It hits you with its hammer. It spawns these other mobs. It kicks you in the air, which is obviously going to really hurt. Oh my gosh, it launches like fragments like that. And I would recommend just trying to melee it down. I mean, survival here, it's quite slow on its attacks, and they're quite easy to dodge, as you can see here. And it will then spawn other bosses. So you've then got a Naga to deal with. Oh, this is really cool. We don't want to be dealing with Naga. So it is a really cool final boss that they've added in, but this is, like I said, from a unofficial mod author. And these liches are much easier to kill. It will also launch out a Snow Queen at you as well. My god, there's so many ads. This is insane. But they don't do too much damage, to be honest with you. It will also spawn a Hydra, an Urghast. Oh my god, this is crazy. There we go, and I died. So as you can see, the boss is very, very difficult. But anyway, this is not an official boss. I just wanted to show you, what you can do using some other mods if you want to get that final boss done. But there we go, guys. That is the ultimate guide to the Twilight Forest, taking you from the very start of the mod to the very end. I hope it was helpful. Check out the playlist you now see on screen, as I have done an insane amount of guides for Twilight Forest. Sorry, no, not Twilight Forest. Oh, just check out my channel. I've nearly done every mod in existence. It's ridiculous. You pretty much are guaranteed that 99% of the time, if I've done a guide, you have got a guide. If I've done a mod, you've got a guide for it. No, the other way around. I'm not sure, but please subscribe.